So you saw that video we showed you just a little while ago, two of them actually, people storming the Capitol in Michigan, and people having a funeral in defiance of the gatherings rules that have been set up in New York. So we ask the question now with these types of things, and by the way, both situations got kind of ugly there when the police had to move in. What is going on? Is there a general sense of frustration in the United States? And is it, as much of anything else, just psychological? I mean, almost to be expected, given what we're living through right now. Joining us is Dr. Lisa Palmer. She specializes in psychotherapy at the Renew Center out of Boca Raton, Florida. My stomping grounds, as I like to say. Dr. Lisa, thanks so much for joining us. What is your take as you watch those videos? Are you looking at that and thinking, you know, there can't help but be some frustrations amongst Americans right now?
There absolutely is frustration. There's no question about it, Rick. We have two big problems, the economy being one of them. As you know, over 30 million Americans applied for unemployment. So they're really feeling the weight of that, and the pressure, the financial strain is causing a lot of trauma for people. In addition to that is this issue of loneliness that's been created by this forced isolation. So that's putting a lot of pressure on people.
But I imagine there's a difference between the loneliness that someone feels who's getting their full paycheck while sitting there watching Netflix all the time and maybe complains because their backyard isn't big enough, and what's really being felt by those who don't have work, have lost their jobs, aren't sure they're ever going to be able to work again, and are wondering how the hell they're going to be able to feed their kids in the future.
Absolutely, no question about it. Scary thoughts. If you don't have savings, what the heck do you do? You might end up homeless. That's a reality for a lot of Americans who are wondering if they can work, if they're going to be hired, if they can go back to their jobs, if their current jobs are going to let them go, and for how long that's going to last. I know that I've had a couple of friends that had to take pay cuts, and they're worried about that. And for those people that are self-employed, they're wondering when they can get started and when the economy is going to get going again so they can bring in business. It's a real dilemma for sure.
One of the most important things in life, I think, and I'm not a psychotherapist, but that we all have to have some kind of vision in our head, some kind of plan, some kind of light at the end of the tunnel. But it seems like we're living during a time when, between our leadership and the media and the disparity of direction, it's kind of hard to find our way. Is that part of what we're suffering from as well? Or is that part of the cause, I should say?
You raise a really good point, because this is definitely a time of scarcity on many levels. And what we really need is an attitude of abundance during this time of scarcity, which is difficult for a lot of people. But as I like to say, your wealth comes from within you. So we can utilize this time to align with faith, hope, and love, and really try to utilize our resources and our friendships and our support systems to grow within ourselves and build our skills, so that when the economy gets bustling again, we can bring a stronger, greater version of ourselves and make things happen. But we definitely have to have an attitude of abundance to be able to get through these tough times.
When do you know when you probably should pick up the phone and call a therapist because you're kind of getting over the edge? Is there a, and we're down to 20 seconds, but is there a critical moment for most Americans who may be listening now?
Absolutely. I think that if you're having a lot of difficulty sleeping, insomnia, you're turning to negative ways of coping, alcohol, drug abuse, it's definitely time to pick up the phone and to get help. And now is the time to do it, because there's a lot of mental health providers that are doing telehealth. And so it's a really good time to take advantage of that opportunity.
Dr. Lisa Palmer from Boca, as we say down there in Florida. Thank you, doctor. We certainly appreciate your time.
Great to be on your show.